depend on each other very much, and that if there's one weak link in the chain, it can affect them all. So I think it is a very good lesson in the value of cooperation and reliance on others.
Well, I think it's a unique event. The Cutty Sark Tall Ships races are like nothing else. They're not really races. They are a gathering of people of all different sorts, from all different backgrounds, who do something that they would never have a chance to do if it weren't for this, and meet people that they would never have a chance to meet. It's a true voyage of discovery. But all these kids, they're discovering themselves. It's not so much the sea, it's not so much the ships, it's themselves. And they come out of it changed people.
Someone get the stop off the other sheet! Quick!
I've been sailing ever since I can remember. My father built a yacht when I was only a small baby, and I've been on that ever since. So when I got to the age of joining the cadets, I joined the cadets so I could further my sailing experience. The other ships I've sailed on are 4.5 rigged. This is a square rig. This is where everything counts. Everybody has to do a job, and if they don't do the job, then the ship won't function correctly.
Come on!
The fact that you are dependent on the elements and you learn about the elements, it's more what I don't know how you'd like to put it, character forming perhaps than technique forming. I mean, it's an experience. It's something which people who live in urban situations, they're not really exposed to the elements or to the natural world in any way. So they get a completely different type of experience, which is challenging and it's exciting and it's interesting.
The Tall Ships Race is a truly international event, and wherever in the world they've dropped anchor, millions have poured onto the quaysides just to be part of it. The salt of a great seafaring tradition, the spice of youthful exuberance. And in the true spirit of international sport, it has broken down barriers wherever it has gone.
It's interesting that, I mean, now there is no such thing, we're told, as an east-west interface, but when we didn't see the Russians over here, they used to come for the Cutty Sark races. In the first ever winner of the Cutty Sark Trophy, which is, again, nothing to do with racing, it's to do with international friendship and understanding, was Krusenstern, the big Soviet bark. And I think that they used to come because there was no conflict. It was a race. There was something for them to do and to aim for, but there was no pressure. There was no international pressure or conflict. And so the very fact that these events are not really what they say they are, not really races, is their attraction, and I think the reason for their success.
Well, I think it brings together a lot of young people in different parts of the world who are all doing the same sort of thing. I mean, a lot of countries have got these sail training ships, and they take young people on board, give them experience of this sort of thing, and I think it's rather fun for them all to come together and meet. Because people who are doing the same things very often find a means of communication, like international sport or anything like that. If you've got a similar interest, it cuts across boundaries and languages and everything else.
After the rigours of the race, the relief of shore leave. Discipline and inhibition slip up to a point, and music and dance cross language barriers. The fleet's in. Grey, Victorian Pollock Dock in Belfast. Its quayside to be transformed into a tented village, echoing to the sounds of laughter, discos, and the sizzle of the Ulster fry. Its decaying warehouses being renewed to provide a warm welcome. from music and merriment to toilets and tumble dryers. It's been a massive undertaking for the city. So why has Belfast bothered?
Well, I think we've got to look at it from two viewpoints. Firstly, the very fact that the Canistock Tall Ships Race and the STA have agreed to come here with their fleet is a tremendous feather in our cap. There's a lot of cities looking for it, a lot of ports, and we were thrilled to bits when we actually achieved that. It really puts Belfast on the map in this field. Belfast is a Victorian maritime city, and I think it's right that a fleet of this sort should come here, and it will do several things. It will give some very worthwhile entertainment to the citizens of Belfast and in fact the whole of Ireland, because she's going to Cork and then coming here, and that incorporates the whole of Ireland, because the visual fun of seeing this fleet is tremendous. It will also give all the commercial side an opportunity, many of them anyway, an opportunity to get involved and get some amount of public relations out of it. And local people who are merchandisers, who are fast food people and all that. So there'll be a creation of wealth out of it, I'm sure. On the other side, we would anticipate a pretty heavy media presence, international as well as local. And provided the sun shines as it is today, and it's good, and I can see no reason why it wouldn't. I think that it should make a major impact in a very positive way.
St James Street, London, home of the race sponsors.
Welcome to London.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I hope we have a good meeting. I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will.
These races don't just happen. They have to be planned. And at regular meetings like this, the International Race Committee discuss venues and routes 5 and 10 years down the road, as well as reviewing this year's developments.
Would you like to take your seats?
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you all very much indeed for coming to London. I'm glad to say that the arrangements for this year's races are going very well, and I think we'll have a good fleet. And I know how much all of you, and all of us, and indeed all the participators in our race, are looking forward to visiting Milford Haven, Cork, Belfast, Aberdeen and Delfzijl. I'm sure it'll be a splendid series.
Hemos hecho lo que tiene que dar cada puerto de una habitación para comités de regata.
Well, after the first race, we immediately had another one in 60, another one in 64. And certainly after these 3 races, we were sure that we were on the right tracks in developing something very useful for the young people and for the international understanding of the young people, at least starting in Europe, but extending it to America and other countries.
Is it unusual for a woman to be captain of one of these sailing ships in the race?
There are some. I'm not the only one. But maybe not that usual. It isn't.
Do you have any special difficulties, let's say, for example, in discipline, because you're a woman?
I think the main problem is that I have to do it twice as better as the men.
Знакомство и, я считаю, в определенном смысле наука морская и общечеловеческая, конечно.
Belfast is very important for the Russian squarigas and Russian sailors because they have a big sympathy towards the Irish people, and for them, when they are going to any English ports or any Irish ports, this is the lesson how this deep culture of this continent have the importance for the young Russian people.
One thing that we've learned about the Cutty-Sark tall ships races is that they are successfully non-political. They have, the fleet has mixed with communist states and so on. Even with ships from dictatorships. It is non-political, and I'm quite sure that there will be no problems of any sort in Northern Ireland, and I'm fairly certain that Northern Ireland will look back after this visit and say that was a turning point.
Right, good morning, guys. Can you gather in, please? Gather in a little bit more. I'd like to introduce you to Mark, who's a very renowned even, local sailor. Okay? Oh, Mark. I want you to divide up now into two groups, okay? Can you divide yourselves into two groups for the two different boats that we're going to be going out in? Right?
In Northern Ireland, sadly, some already are in two groups. And of the 170 local kids selected to join the race this year, many have come, Protestant and Catholic, from inner-city areas of Derry, Belfast and Craigavon. In the peace of County Fermanagh, they're beginning to learn about the ropes and, more important, about one another.
Swing it right the way around. Turn the whole thing the other way around, 180 degrees around. Okay, so spin the whole thing around. One of you bring the end towards the shore, right towards the water. Right, you carefully get into the boat. Spread your weight around evenly around the boat. And before you can do, you can learn how the sails work with the boat. Really helps you don't stand against the edge of the ship. You can do all the jobs.
Loch Earn is no wild Atlantic, and these are no tall ships. But the lessons are the same. Respect the sea, listen to the captain and crew, and work together as a team.
Right, put it into neutral, and then see the red stop on. Press that, and to hold it in a bit.
We send one person to a sail training cruise every year from here. Well, he's probably a chap who comes from an urban background. He's going to go on working in an urban situation most of his life. It seems to me that in the process of growing up, it's a marvellous experience to have undertaken.
Pull it in till it stops flapping. Pull it in further. That's it. And where's the boat going?
You're right.
The boat is actually, well, we're starting to move forwards, aren't we?
This seems to me to be the whole point of providing an education and a growing up is exposure to experiences. Otherwise, how can you make a judgment? How do you know what's going on? How can you relate to life if you haven't experienced more than just the backstreet? But isn't it better to have seen it once than never to have seen it at all? And isn't it better to have been exposed once to something quite different, if you know what I mean, with all the value of the experience, living with other people of the same age, having the challenge of crewing a ship, knowing that your work is what makes it go, the opportunity to meet other people from different countries that are doing the same. It may be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but it's better than not having it at all.
Right, hoist away. Right up to the top, as far as you can go. Right up, hoist her up. Keep hoisting away.
Fun and games over, it's the real thing. And remember, Technicolor yawns should always be downwind.